on the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Right off the bat, first off, if you're someone that labels yourself as progressive, Democrat progressive, left progressive, please hit pause, stop, ignore, do not watch this video. This video will trigger you. I'm not making it for that purpose. I am making it for all the other people. I am not trying to upset you. That's why I intentionally chose a thumbnail that's kind of pro-Trump, so you wouldn't click on it. And if you accidentally did, please don't watch this, because I've got an awesome show, folks. I've got an awesome show. We've got some amazing information, I think, that's setting Twitter up for the big takedown, or the big something, the big 230 change. The big Twitter, I think, is going to be the example that everybody else sees and goes, ooh, and then makes decisions based off that. They're setting that stage. I've also got an amazing piece of 2 minutes of Trump that's very pro-Trump. It's meant to be pro-Trump. I'm not trying to inflame anybody. It's strictly meant to be something that's for people that are right-leaning, center-leaning, or wondering, hey, I don't know, I just kind of want to hear something positive about Trump because 92% of the time it's negative. Dude, you're at the right place. And oddly, I've got something that I think the left is going to blame Trump for. And I'll be honest with you, it could very well be Trump's fault. Yeah, former James Bond. Trump killed James Bond. He killed, obviously, right? Because everything that happens bad in the world is Trump's fault. So, I mean, duh. So, obviously, he killed James Bond. Not all these things react well to bullets, or you're stuck between a rock and a hard case. I love the dude. I love him. I love everything he's done. He's one of the few accents I can kind of sort of do, even though it's pretty bad. I know, comments. I'm sorry. I have a day job. Don't worry. But yeah, Trump killed James Bond. Totally sucks. You know what else Trump did? Because he keeps getting blamed by how he has handled the COVID virus. Biden frequently talks about how that's the one thing that he's hammering home. And, you know, like 3 days before the election on the 31st. Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. But, you know, hammering it home to everybody out there that, you know, Trump maybe could have done more, maybe could have done less, maybe the mask, maybe more lockdowns. I don't know. I don't really know what they think he should have done. But they kept pointing to Europe. I say that weird, huh? They keep pointing to Europe as the example of what they should have done, of what the proper procedure would have been. Had Trump done what Europe did, well, gosh golly, nobody would have died. Now, that's probably exaggerative, but certainly not the 225 or 35 or wherever we're at right now. I don't really, frankly, pay attention anymore. They lost me at like 100 and something. That being said, yeah, Europe and U.S. apparently, but certainly Europe is facing a whole new wave of lockdowns right now. In fact, France, kind of funny misspeak, but they are actually rioting again. People are very upset. They were leaving Paris because of the lockdowns that were coming. A lot of people supposedly going to their second homes. I don't know if everybody in France has a second home. That sounds awesome. Maybe should move there, right? I just got the one here, and I work really hard for it. But, wow, hey, in France you can have two homes with nothing, just for half the money down. I don't know. I'm making that up. Fact is, the example that we're supposed to follow, apparently, is having more lockdowns. Why? Because spikes in cases. They're doing everything right. That's weird that they're having lockdowns, isn't it? Now, again, had Trump followed Europe, I don't know. I have a hard time with the logic sometimes when they keep telling me over and over and over how he sucks. And it's just like, I don't know what else he could have done. I'm honestly, legitimately not sure. Like, mask mandate, I still don't think it's legal. And again, let's not get off on the wrong foot. Interesting here as well, Glenn Greenwald, liberal journalist, frankly. And he has started his own paper and all this. It's like, I don't know when it was. I don't know. It was like, 15 years ago-ish. Whatever, doesn't matter really. It's not wholly germane. But this guy ends up quitting. Now, I think it's weird that you'd quit your own company that you're now probably on the board, or it went public and suddenly you didn't have a full majority shares. I don't know. Or there's people that have significant enough shares to where they have an opinion that counts. Don't know the game, didn't look into it, don't particularly care. But what is interesting is that this guy literally left his paper because he was being censored by his own paper. This guy has been doing journalism for a long time. He's won awards, right? Like a Pulitzer and some other fancy schmancy award that's got glitter on it, right? He won that award too. And so this guy is known, he's accepted. Deep State's giving him his kudos, his congrats, his, hey, there you go, buddy. Here's a check for $100 or whatever the hell, right? And sure as shoot, they're censoring him. And that's the thing that's kind of funny. When you step away from the mainstream's narrative, you instantly get labeled, you get shadow banned, a lot of things start to seem to happen. And it's, again, one of those things that hopefully you're seeing it. You're maybe wondering, why don't I see any of my favorite YouTube people anymore? It has something to do with it. So DHS Secretary Chad Wolf is labeling Twitter's censorship as national security threat. National security threat. When I said they were starting to thread that needle, even though I didn't say that, but I am now, they didn't thread that needle until this moment. They are literally painting the picture. They are preparing the battleground. They are preparing the narrative. They are doing a lot of things. And this letter to Jack Dorsey from the national, whatever the heck, Chad Wolf, right? I write you about Twitter's recent censorship of Mark Morgan, the senior official performing the duties of commissioner, yada, yada, yada. Right? So he posted as saying they blocked it because they said, ooh, that's going to make everybody think bad. So what they posted hours after you concluded testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee on October 28th, blah, 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 you guys suspended Mr. Morgan for tweeting, quote, the CPB and U.S. Army Corps of Engineers continue to build new wall every day. Every mile helps us stop gang members, murderers, sexual predators, and drugs from entering our country. It's a fact. Walls work. End quote. Twitter's moderator apparently twittered the tweet, emailed Mr. Morgan and said, hey, by the way, you're not allowed to promote violence, threaten or harass other people. And that's one of the big things right now is cyberbullying. That's what they call anything that maybe speaks poorly about somebody on the left, even though, again, the hypocrisy is profound. That being said, so the fact that this tweet was removed and the account locked is startling. It is hard to understand how anyone believed Mr. Morgan's tweets promoted violence, threats, or harassment, especially considering that the facts about the border wall system support the tweet. Whether you know it or not, CBP guards in the front line of American homeland. CBP repels and arrests thousands of violent criminal gang members each year. CBP rescues young girls who are forced into cross-border sex trafficking. CBP intercepts dangerous drugs and contraband, including enough opioid fentanyl to kill every man, woman, and child in the United States several times over. Super lethal how much of that stuff's coming in. CBP fulfills the United States' most obvious and essential law enforcement and national security responsibilities to the people of our country. Your company may choose to ignore these facts, but it is no less censorship when you choose to suppress them. There was no reason to remove Mr. Morgan's tweet from your platform other than ideological disagreement with the speaker. Such censorship is disturbing. Twitter's conduct censoring U.S. government officials also endangers the national security. It is dangerous and damaging when any publisher arbitrarily and unfoundedly decides, as it did here, that the facts and policies of a particular presidential administration constitutes violence in order to censor them. And in the case of Twitter, this can cut off an essential mode of communication between U.S. government officials and the public. In doing so, Twitter is sabotaging public discourse regarding important national and homeland security issues. Further, it is clear that Twitter's gross censorship was intentional, not accidental. Twitter notified CBP that it had been censored Mr. Morgan's message and locked his account, told him all that good stuff. So in response, CBP communicated with Twitter's Office of Government Affairs and also appealed Twitter's censorship decision. But Twitter denied the appeal. And Twitter's Office of Government Affairs ignored CBP's communications. Only after CBP reached out to Twitter's Office of Government Affairs a second time and went public with this censorship, then finally Twitter admitted its bad judgment and unlocked the account. Finally, I call on you to commit to never again censoring content on your platform and obstructing Americans' unalienable rights to communicate with each other and with their governments as its officials, including the thousands of law enforcement officers at the DHS who worked diligently to protect your safety every day. I said vigilantly, not whatever. So pretty powerful words that he is carrying on. Again, painting the picture. Now, some of the most, I love the way they call it. It's true. It's badass. This is truly badass. So this is Biden's van. I'm not saying anything, but what I want to point out, they talk about how violent people are. No, people on the right are not the violent ones at all, for the most part. And a lot of the stuff, the thing, Charlottesville or whatever, anyway, that's the one thing when we've got, I don't know how many cities have burned down because of Antifa and stuff on the left. So anyway, I don't want to get off track. This is awesomeness. So, this is the Biden campaign. Now, this particular video's got a song in it. I'm curious who it is, by the way. I could have looked it up, but I didn't. I'm wondering if it's Ice Cube. Don't know. Pretty cool. I'm going to kind of pop in and out of the sound, hoping that I don't get in too much trouble. It is 30 seconds, and in the big picture, I should be able to play it, but I know how things work in this wonderful world. So, but the video's most important, and you'll get enough because the song repeats anyway. It's pretty cool. Check it out.
You ready? You ready?
Check it out. Check it out. That's the Biden van.
To the Red Kingdom. Yeah. Red.
Again, Biden. All these Trump supporters. Oh, how awesome it is.
Red Kingdom. Yeah.
They're being nice. They're just kind of surrounding the bus, protecting him from all the evils that could exist in the land of the freeways. Freeways are dangerous places, folks. Let's be honest. I mean, you know it. I know it. They're dangerous places. So, again, from a different angle, only because it's relevant. And again, I want to demonstrate and point out how peaceful people are being. Now, maybe this is a little scary, but no one's like up on them honking. Like it's chill. It's just meant to demonstrate there's a lot of Trump support out there, Mr. Joe Biden, even though you're driving through our streets. First off, this car's got an obvious V8. Sounds wonderful. Now, as you'll notice, a lot of flags, a lot of pickup trucks. That's our audience. Look at all this. Look at all this. First off, the drag. You guys imagine how much gas is being wasted by the drag. But it's beautiful to see. Hello, Joe Biden. We're just protecting you, sir. Protecting you. Want to make sure nobody gets in close, right? Right? Everybody's just keeping you in there, keeping you safe from any harm, making sure there's no way that you could possibly be harmed. And that's very important when you're dealing with these kinds of things. So, again, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. This is quite possibly one of the coolest Trump videos that I've seen. Again, if you're progressive left, I want you to go somewhere else. Seriously, right now. This is the place where you're probably going to get very upset. I do not want to make you upset. That is not what I'm trying to do. Now, people in the center left, I think you should see this because, frankly, this is a pretty cool message. Even though this is a really bad image to start with, it does improve. But I honestly think this is pretty pro-Trump in a very cool kind of way. Check it out.
I've been told by all these geniuses, all these brilliant guys, they all say, you can't win the state of California. I think we can. The more that a broken system tells you that you're wrong, the more certain you should be that you must keep pushing ahead. You must keep pushing forward. If I give you one message to hold in your hearts today, it's this: never, ever give up. There'll be times in your life you'll want to quit, you'll want to go home. Never, ever quit. You never quit. Relish the opportunity to be an outsider. Embrace that label. Being an outsider is fine. Embrace the label. Because it's the outsiders who change the world and who make a real and lasting difference.
405 freeway. Sky 5 flew over it this morning. It is facing northbound near Getty Center Drive as you enter the Sepulveda Pass. The white letters somewhat mimicking the famous Hollywood sign.
Treat the word impossible as nothing more than motivation. The more people tell you it's not possible, that it can't be done, the more you should be absolutely determined to prove them wrong.
Best is yet to come. I do truly agree with that. And also, one thing I really want to point out, and this is just an example of what I've done professionally, had to take over a team that was floundering. They were failing to meet deadline after deadline after deadline. There was obviously a problem managing it and where they were going with the product. I got involved. We turned things around. And most importantly, one of the big things that happened is we got rid of a couple people that were really fond of saying, that's impossible. We can't do that. We can't, I don't know how, we can't do it. And I pulled one of them aside at one point and I said, look, there's all sorts of things you can say to me. You can tell me it's too expensive. You could tell me it take this many hours. You could tell me anything you want. But when you tell me something's impossible, that means you have no vision. That means you have no ability to truly make things happen. And that means you don't belong on this team. And it's really important to understand that even though people say things are impossible, they're not. And when enough people get together, when enough people are in the same general feeling and vibe, when enough people see a video like this and go, yeah, I swear it seems like this guy's looking out for us. If you can see that in that video, that says a lot. And if you can remember that when you go in to vote on Tuesday, that also means a lot. This is literally, and everyone's saying it, and I'm going to echo it because I agree. This is very well likely the most historic vote that we will see. 2020 will forever be in the history books. The president we choose in 2020 will forever be recognized as the place where we turned the ship around, where we finally decided, yes, we are going to make America great again. Yes, we can be united again. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle, and make sure you get out there and vote. It's the biggest thing you can do.